JBM friends, welcome to the Ambedkar Age series of videos. In this series, Roundtable India aims to produce documentaries, talks, interviews on contemporary issues from a Dalit Bahujan perspective. In this latest episode, we talked to Kiruba Munusamy, Judicial Activist and Lawyer practicing in the Supreme Court. Welcome Kiruba. You have been a practicing lawyer for nearly 8 years and most of the time you have been dealing with cases of Dalit atrocities, social justice and women's issues. You have travelled all the way from Salem to Chennai to Delhi. You practiced for nearly 6 years in the Madras High Court. So why this transition from Chennai to Delhi?
It has a small story. In the year 2014, I filed a case on behalf of a transgender who was expelled from the post of police woman constable. So we filed a case in the Madras High Court to reinstate her in the post of police woman constable. She was selected and she was undergoing the training for the constable post, and during the medical examination in the training she was found to be transgender and she was dismissed from the post. So the matter however was referred to me, so I filed the petition, and that time I realized I lacked legal expertise in the field. And I also found there are no lawyers to take up such matters pertaining to the constitution or basic fundamental rights. And I also found no lawyers who fight for the rights of the victims or Dalit community. So I thought myself to learn drafting and to become a legal expert in the profession, so that I chose to practice in the Supreme Court.
I mean, your background suggests that you have been an activist even in the Chennai High Court. So justice has been a very prime concern with you. I mean, you said you were from Salem and then you moved on to Chennai. So where did you start? Did you start in Salem or in Chennai, your activism?
It's actually from my childhood, I have to say. So I used to question everything. If my mother wants me to worship a god, I used to question why. If she asked me to take head bath also on a Diwali day or Sankranti, I used to question why. Why not the god will accept me without any head bath or other rituals and all. So it started from my childhood. So during my third year of college, I joined an advocate office in Salem. I was going to the district court.
This was BL?
BL. I did my 5 years integrated BL course, law degree. So during my third year of my graduation, I joined an advocate office. So I used to draft the cases, I used to type the dictations, and I also used to visit courts. Then I found something is lacking that I expect. So it was not up to the expectation in the profession which I was imagining. So every law graduate has an imagination how they go to court and how they argue and all. So it was not up to my expectation. And the practice was below the average. So they just used to go take bail for 100 rupees, they come back. I didn't find any commitment in the profession. So I chose to practice in the Madras High Court. So in the year 2008, immediately after my completion of graduation, I shifted to Chennai. I started practicing in the Madras High Court. Then I got into contact with Periyar movement. And I got few cases where the victims had no choice except to approach the legal aid. And the legal aid also, advocates are paid only 700 rupees. So 700 rupees in the sense, it was not even sufficient for preparing the drafts and all. So they used to, don't take such cases seriously. So then I saw something is lacking for the community. So I started appearing for free for the victims, caste victims, and I appeared for Dalit women in the divorce cases, and I also appeared for free in the reservation cases, and finally we also fought for the rights of a Dalit girl who was raped. So that's how my activism started.
I mean, how has been your career in Madras High Court? I mean, was it mostly cases of violence? You also referred to domestic disputes, then divorce and all that. How was that experience?
Basically, advocate profession is a male-dominated profession. So only divorce cases and other domestic matters are referred to women lawyers. So one or two serious cases and property matters also come to us, but that also will be like Panchami lands and other eviction matters where we have to approach only for direction, and we don't have the scope to have lengthy arguments, and we don't have the scope to challenge the constitutional rights. So I had no scope to practice in a larger area. So my area of practice was very limited and restricted to cases relating to women and such. Then when I started involving myself into politics, Periyar movement, I found some cases where we have good chances to challenge the system itself. So there I had chances to file cases for reservation in the medical colleges and non-implementation of proper reservation in educational institutions and academic spaces. Then I was asked to file public interest litigation for a few issues in Madras. So only after involving into politics and getting in contact with Periyar movement, I had scope to practice in the area of constitution. Otherwise, I had to practice only in the family courts, where only divorce matters will be referred. And even the rape matter, I was asked only to file intervention petition to stop the court from granting bail to the accused. So only the small cases were there.
You must have been one of the very few women lawyers especially from the Dalit community practicing there. What are the impediments or obstacles you think you face? You don't have a background of lawyers in the family. Your father was not a lawyer and your mother is not a lawyer. I mean, that kind of social capital you don't have. And you went into law because you said your sisters were in other fields. So why did you go into law primarily? I mean, despite having no background in law, why did you go into law?
For me, involving into this legal profession was decided on the day I born. So my father and mother, my parents, they came through a lot of untouchability and other social oppressions. So they wanted to educate us. Even now we are residing in a rental home. We have no property at all. Because my father and mother, they both invested of their whole income on our education. So we are 3 sisters, and when my eldermost sister born, my father decided to make her a doctor. So she was the first doctor in her generation, and when my elder sister born, he wanted to make her an engineer. So she was the first ever engineer in her generation. And when I was born, my father don't want to make a competitor to other siblings. So he wanted me to do my law. Even I still remember during my 2nd standard or 3rd standard when my teacher questioned what will become after 10 years or 20 years, I told I'll be a lawyer. I'll be joining the law college. So that's how it was decided. And after coming into profession, I was much eager, and after watching movies and all, you'll be having imagination that you're going to do this kind of actions and argue in the court. And basically I'm so talkative. And I'm interested in leading people, and I'm interested in socializing with others. So I thought this is the perfect profession for me to get into. I have other small story to tell. First, I was referred to join a lawyer. She is a woman and she is from a dominant caste. She belongs to Gounder community. I don't think it's wrong to mention her caste also. She was from Gounder community. And I was sincerely working in the office. I was also much appreciated for my works as a junior. And once I applied for my Masters in Criminal Law in the Dr. Ambedkar Law College, Chennai, I was asked to attend the interview on the very next Monday. So she herself volunteered some books like IPC and Criminal Procedure Code to prepare for my interview. I took the books to my hostel and I prepared for the interview. So Monday I attended the interview. And Tuesday when I returned to the office, I was treated like a culprit. They all were keeping silent, all other juniors did not talk to me. And I went to court, I did my court work, and when I returned from the court, I found my ID card was missing from my bag. So I thought something is happening in the office, and the moment I entered the senior's room, I found 3 other women sitting along with her, and all were from Women Lawyers Association. So they made me to sit like an accused, and they were inquiring me like I stole this book, how many case papers I have stolen to my hostel room. She was threatening me to give complaint as if I have stolen some important case documents and I have given it to opposite lawyer for some money also. And I was surprised to know, I was shocked actually, not even surprised. I was shocked why they were treating me in such a way, and she volunteered to give the book. And later I realized she had come to know my caste. And criminal law, only in the Madras Law College you have the criminal law department. So all over India there are only 3 colleges where they have criminal law, and there are only 15 seats in the Madras Law College. So out of the 15 members in Tamil Nadu, I was also one among them. So she was not able to tolerate it. So she threatened me to give police complaint, and she asked me to leave this office. So I was upset, and I thought all my dreams in the profession were shattered on that day. Later, my elder sister, she was more supportive. Later, I was offered to join a government advocate who was advocating for the government of Tamil Nadu that time. So I was with him for 4 months. Then I used to translate all the Tamil documents into English. Since 2010, I'm practicing independent. So there were obstacles in the profession, and when you get cases, initially you don't know how to draft. You don't know what is the legal point. So you had to get the help from some other lawyer. They will not tell you the proper way to draft. They'll ask you to give the matter to them so that they pay you 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees as commission. So I was also asked to give one such case, and I handed over it to some other lawyer, and he got good name out of that case. Later I realized instead of giving these cases to others, I already, I was a little bit good in drafting, and I thought of improving my drafting skill, and that day I decided to take up my cases on my own. Until then, throughout my 8 years of practice so far, I have not engaged any senior counsel for my cases. Whether I present it in a proper way or I present it in an improper way, I myself argue my cases. So it makes me to learn.
This is interesting because what you said reveals that caste performs very critical role in the law profession. What they require for training is another senior lawyer's help, which is not easily available, as you pointed out. And if you are coming from a Dalit community, could also be marked, that you should be excluded. The only training is available through senior counsel, and otherwise you are left on your own. So this must be the reason many lawyers drop out and join other professions. So, but you stuck on 6 years, you practiced independently.
Till my eldermost sister completed her graduation, we have not even heard the word marriage in her home.
Okay.
They were only concentrating on her profession. And they were insisting our other elder sister to join some company, and until then there were no talk on her marriage. So this was happening in my home, and it was the basic support we had in our profession. And when it comes to finance, as I already told, my parents invested all their income on our education, and they had no savings at all. So it was like we have to earn for ourselves. We have to take care of our own livelihood, and we cannot depend on our family anymore. So on that occasion, when I joined as a junior, I was paid only 2,500 rupees. So I was staying in a hostel where I have to pay 2,500. So I used to translate some Tamil documents to English, where I will be paid 20 rupees per page.
Okay.
So I'll be earning 500 rupees per month. So out of the 3,000, I'll pay 2,500 to my hostel, and I use that 500 to get my bus pass.
Okay.
So nearly for 1 year, I have not went anywhere in Chennai. I don't know except the route from hostel to court.
Okay.
So I was doing this for 1 year. Later I started getting small cases, and I started getting more translations. And even then, at one point of time, I realized if I continue to do translations, I'll be made a translator and not a good lawyer. Then I stopped translating documents, regularly stopped translating documents. Then I started translating only in the rare cases where it is very important, or otherwise if the matter is going to Supreme Court, I translate those matters so that I can learn how the lower court cases are brought to Supreme Court, how they appeal, and what legal grounds they appeal. So I had occasion to learn all those things. So out of that additional 500 rupee, I used to manage myself for 1 year. My mother used to say that we have to work and we should not even depend our husbands for our napkins, to buy our sanitary napkins also. And she used to insist on the the respect we are given when we are in a particular profession. So my mother was knowing it, and she told me to continue the profession.
You are active also during your college days, helping people go through intercaste marriages. A few you had mentioned. So tell us about.
Till I came into contact with this political movements, I had no idea about caste.
Yeah.
I know we were living in a place where we cannot tell our locality, even our locality. So when I talked to someone else and someone asked me locality, where do you live, I used to say some other places. Because it was treated like a places of, where accused live, where more crimes happen. So I felt ashamed to tell even the place where I born. And we were staying in rented houses. And whenever we shift to one locality to other locality, we used to tell the dominant caste of that locality. And we stopped eating beef for quite some years. We used to buy only chicken to show people like we are also belong to your caste. So we were pretending to be dominant caste. But I still found some freedom in my family. I have to tell you one thing, like my father, he will not go and ask any money from his colleagues for her school fees. But my mother will go and ask money from his colleagues to pay her school fees and all. She was that bold. And in my mother's family, there were 6, 7 love marriages where my mother's mother, my grandmother used to give them accommodation for a few months till they, convince their parents.
Yeah.
So my grandmother used to give accommodation to such couples who got love marriages for months till they convinced their family and parents. So I grew seeing such intercaste marriages and my family giving place for such lovers and all. So I had much respect for love marriages and intercaste marriages. And my parents were not strict on caste, maybe because they born as Dalits, they are very liberal on choosing a life partner. But still we were brought with all liberty, and when I see some woman feeling herself oppressed, or when she is not able to decide her own life, I used to question why is she not able to decide her life.
Yeah.
So that made me to volunteer helps and all. So even during my school days and college days, I have helped all the couples who try to get intercaste marriage. And after getting into legal profession, I have helped them even legally to get their marriages registered. And earlier there was a practice in Madras where the lawyers will give the certificate of marriage, and with that certificate they can even go and register the marriages.
Okay.
And only in the recent 2-3 years there was a ban by the Madras High Court from giving a lawyer, which stopped lawyer from giving the certificate of marriages. So being a lawyer in the Madras High Court, I had given nearly 20-30 certificates for such intercaste marriages.
You also had to face violence because of your activism. Tell us about what happened.
It was an intercaste marriage. In Tamil Nadu, we have a folk instrument called parai. So many parai troops will be conducting parai workshops in vacations during May and June. And
that's the parai drum.
Parai drum. It's a drum, folk instrument of Tamil Nadu. So one dominant caste woman, she came for the workshop, and she fell in love with a Dalit guy during the workshop, and she was much interested to continue parai as a profession also. So they both were in love, and they were supposed to get married with the consent of their own parents. But some other person of her caste, he wanted to stop the marriage, and he tried all his means to stop, but he couldn't. So he thought, since I am friend of the Dalit guy, only on my support and my legal background, they are proceeding with the matter. So I don't know how they decided me to be their back support. So they started threatening me in several ways, like anonymous calls, knocking my door at late nights was happening. And one day I found it is going to be very serious. So I thought of giving police complaint the next day, but unfortunately I was stabbed. I was going to meet a friend and someone hit me on the back when I was driving the two-wheeler, and when I turned to see who was it, I was stabbed by a person who stabbed and ran away. He was wearing a helmet. So I had no person around me and I don't know whom to call. And I thought it is serious, and if someone found me stabbed with knife, they won't help me because it is a criminal case. They'll be immediately calling police people, but it may take some time. So I was wearing a Bluetooth headphone, so I just pressed so that it calls the person whom I talked recently. So I informed my friend like I was stabbed and I'm going to the hospital which was nearby. So please inform my family and come. So I myself drove the two-wheeler to the hospital. I myself got admitted and I gave statement what all happened. And yeah, it was a big violence where my family was afraid and they don't want me to continue the profession also. But I was very stubborn to continue my profession, and I wanted to make sure that I'm going to rise even after this serious incident.
This happened in Chennai city itself?
In Chennai.
Behind the High Court, you said?
Yes, it's actually nearby High Court. It is called Beach Road, which is very close, not even 1 kilometer from High Court.
Okay.
So,
and a very public road.
Very public road. So after 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, you find a few vehicles only, not much traffic. So I was going around 7:30 or 8 o'clock something.
So it was a serious injury because you said you were stabbed and you were also hospitalized.
Yes. So it was a deep stab wound. So the doctors want to make sure that my internal organs are not affected or not injured. So they did cut open my abdomen from my breast to umbilical cord. So I have a vertical sutures in my abdomen. So on the left I have the stab wound. In the middle I have the surgical wound. And on the right side I have a hole which doctors made it for excretion of waste and all. So I was hospitalized for 17 days. So police were threatening me to tell the name of the Dalit boy or their family members, and they suspected this was the reason why I was stabbed. And they were not interested in inquiring the girl's side.
So this is interesting. They were questioning you, but they were not making any attempts to find the culprit.
Exactly.
It was a serious incident, and the media and the members of your legal profession, other lawyers, how did they respond? So
the media, as usual, they titled it like Dalit lawyer was stabbed. That was the title in all the Tamil newspapers. And my family and my mother, they all requested the reporters not to publish my name. But still they published my name. And whole High Court came to know about the incident. And members of Women Lawyer Association, they came. Members of Women Lawyer Association, they came. So those were the women who threatened me in my first office, first ever senior office.
Achha.
So I didn't have any trust on them. So I thought, I very well know they are not going to do anything for me. If it's some Savarna lawyer or some other person, they would be holding some protest or boycott for a day.
Okay.
But since it was me, nothing happened. So, all the newspapers published like I was stabbed because I was in good contact with Vidudalai Chirutaigal Katchi.
Okay.
Liberation Panthers, yes, Liberation Panthers Party. And many were, telling me, were you involved in politics, that is why you were stabbed. And it is not good for a woman to involve in politics, and it is not good for you to take the Dalit identity. I was said so.
But your identity was revealed by the media itself, no?
Yes, it was revealed by the media.
They had, that actually meant you more, threat for me.
No, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, they treat the Liberation Panthers Party as a Dalit party. not as a mainstream political party. So if someone is in good contact with Tirumavalavan or the Liberation Panthers party, they are deemed to be Dalits.
But you are a supporter, not even a member.
Yes, I was not even a member. I was only, even right now I am a supporter of Liberation Panthers party, since that is the only party which takes the issues of Dalits and Dalit atrocity cases and all. So I wanted to be a mere supporter.
Okay.
So they all were telling me like you were in a good contact with those members of Liberation Panthers party, which is treated as a Dalit party. That is why you were stabbed. And at one point of time, many others, I was sharing the office of a senior called Anand. So I couldn't pay the rent for my office, and I couldn't afford the rent of the offices in front of High Court and all. So I used to draft cases for him, and he used to give me a small space in his office. So that's how I started independent practice. And many other advocates have complained to Mr. Anand to expel me from the office and to vacate me from the place.
Instead of supporting you, they are asking.
Yes,
okay.
They have all suggested. Yes, they all have suggested my colleague come senior to evict me from the office because of this incident. But I don't know how he was strong enough to oppose them. He was in good support of me, and he invited me to come back to the office. But still, he also had certain conditions, terms and conditions.
Okay.
That I should not attend the political meetings, I should not write politics on Facebook, I should not, be in contact with Dalit lawyers or other Dalit members of Liberation Panthers party. So I acted as per their terms and conditions for 3-4 months. Then I was not able to, tolerate this, and I was not able to act thereafter. So I chose to get away from all these things, and I thought the best way is to come to practice in the Supreme Court.
Okay. All this happened in 2015?
Yes, 2014.
14.
And people were thinking like after the stab incident, I'll go away from the profession.
No lawyers came forward to support you, protest. Even the High Court didn't take any notice of this violence. So you have been facing this kind of non-cooperation all through your career. 6 years you worked in Chennai and then you moved to the Supreme Court. How was your experience in the Supreme Court?
Advocate profession is a male-dominated profession, and all the male lawyers expect the women lawyers to be their juniors. And when a woman practices independent, you can easily see either her father would be a lawyer or her husband would be a lawyer. Otherwise, she must having some political background or influence in the government to become a government lawyer. Otherwise, no other women are practicing independent. And if 1 or 2 persons like me come up to practice independent, they expect us to, suffer without any cases and without any income. It was happening even when I was practicing in the Madras High Court. So all the male lawyers expect me to give the briefs to them and to get the commission. And I have an interesting incident which took place in the Madras High Court. So I have migraine, so I used to have small, short hair. So one day I went to the court and I was arguing the matter, and after hearing all my arguments, one Dalit judge, he told, Kiruba, your argument is not interesting, it's not attractive, but your hairstyle is. So I told him it's none of your business, and there are no rules for restricting my hairstyle, and it is my convenience to have short hair. And he told, no, nowadays it has become fashion for women to have short hair and men to have long hair. But in my court, I feel it not good, and it is not a good practice to have short hair and all. I thought he'll dismiss my case, but at last he gave me a favorable order. But if a junior who is working with a senior counsel, or a Brahmin woman, or a slim woman with light skin comes with short hair, open hair, or even with pant shirts and all, they don't even think to comment. But when it is a Dravidian woman, looking dark, and she is a little bit fat, and I started putting weight only after my surgery. It was a complication of my surgery, and I keep putting weight. So he questioned me, and that day it was irritating. other women are coming who are not able to represent their cases. They, in a very sweet voice, they ask for adjournment, and they are deliberately giving them the interim orders. But when women lawyers like Kiruba Munusamy comes and argues, they are looking at my hairstyle and they are commenting on it.
Yeah, how can the judge come on?
He commented, of course, he did. So, yeah.
Who will pass a judgment on these judges?
And the piteous part is he is also a Dalit.
Okay.
So the same thing happened in Supreme Court also.
Okay.
So when I started practicing in the Supreme Court, for one appearance they used to pay me 1,000 rupees. So there are many lawyers who are not able to present their case, who are not able to draft their cases. For drafting they will give me 2,000 rupees, and for arguing the case on admissions they will give me 1,000 rupees per case. So I used to go and argue. When I argue, the judges will not even listen to my arguments. They'll sit, in a very leisure manner as if it is not important. So it made me to think why I am being neglected throughout my profession for the past 8 years, and I found judges are racist.
Yeah.
They are also casteist. So on my appearance, they can come to a conclusion that either I should be a tribal woman or I should be a Dalit woman. So with that conclusion, they even approach my cases.
Something the judges need lots of education in themselves. So despite all this, you have also been again staying alone in Delhi and again going through the same process of not having any financial security or support from your family or anyone else. How are you managing in Delhi?
So most of the cases are referred to me by the political movements or independent activists. So if they want to file public interest litigation, they'll definitely approach me because I am the cheapest lawyer in the Supreme Court. If they have to file cases through other lawyer, they have to spend at least 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh for even public interest litigations. Otherwise, lawyers will file it for free for the sake of getting publicity or without any commitment to the matter. Or otherwise, when such public interest litigations are published, the petitioner's name will not be there, only the lawyer's name will be there. So they have good contact with the medias also. So from Tamil Nadu, there are a few movements which trust me, so they give me matters. So I get the minimum of filing expenses and other clerical expenses, and only 1,000 or 2,000 rupees extra out of this. So that's how I been paid. And initially, as I told, I used to draft, I used to translate for Supreme Court matters, and I used to appear in matters where other lawyers are not able to appear. So that's how I get my income, and I don't bother about my financial positions and all.
But how has been the support of other women lawyers, senior lawyers, and others, who are supposedly fighting for social justice too? Women lawyers will be very few in Supreme Court also.
Yes.
Dalit women lawyers will be very rare.
There may be male lawyers, but when it comes to women lawyers, so far I am the only woman. That's what a North Indian, Dalit lawyer told me.
Okay.
He appreciated much for taking this courageous decision to practice in the Supreme Court.
Okay.
And even when I see lawyers from Tamil Nadu, I am able to see only dominant caste lawyers and others.
Yeah.
I have not seen any Dalit woman lawyer because, you see, since this profession, this judiciary, the system itself is a casteist one, she must have been facing discrimination and she must have been, isolated from the other lawyers. Then it must come to my notice. But I have not noticed any such woman who struggles to practice. And many other women lawyers from Tamil Nadu or South India, they are comfortable with advocate generals or other senior counsels, or some are doing independent practice, and it is obvious from their way of practice that they belong to dominant.
It is a very structurally bad situation wherein the judges are mostly upper caste or dominant caste, and their bias against women is also there, and also against Dalit women, as you said, are tribal women. In this atmosphere, what kind of challenges do you face?
Oh, there is a ritual called Madasnana, and Urula Seva in Karnataka.
Yeah.
A similar kind of ritual was performed in Tamil Nadu in a district called Karur.
Yeah.
In the Nehru Brahmendral Koil temple, they used to perform the ritual during May months, during their anniversary something. So one client approached me to file public interest litigation to ban it, and I clearly told him it is not the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, and even otherwise if you file petitions for a particular state, they will ask you to go back. So we thought of filing the petition to ban the ritual all over India so that the jurisdictional point is also met out, and the matter is also taken as a serious one. So I filed the petition, and Dattu was the Chief Justice of India at that time, and I mentioned before him to take the matter as an urgent one since the ritual has to be performed in another 1 week. But he told there is no urgency in the matter, and I mentioned the similar matter was already stayed by the Supreme Court, and it is the duty of the Supreme Court to stay the ritual which is similar to the one already stayed. But he told, no, I don't find any urgency, so you better wait, let the matter get listed as it gets. Then I thought it was not going to work out, and I sent the same draft to the lower court lawyer, high court lawyer, and I asked him to change the name and file the matter.
In Delhi?
No, in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
So we filed the matter in the Supreme Court. Since Dattu did not allow the matter to be listed as urgent one, I asked the High Court lawyer, Madras High Court lawyer, to file the same petition with other name. He filed and they obtained stay. I thought the matter is solved and it is not going to listed. Since May month is also vacation, I came back to my home. But unfortunately, the matter was listed, and the person whom I asked to represent, he didn't. And I filed the petition with the help of a Brahmin woman. She is from Maharashtra, and she was pretending to be more Dalit supportive and more helpful. I trusted her. So she helped me to file the petition. Though I drafted, she helped me in getting signature from the advocate on record and others. So we filed the petition. The person whom I requested to appear, he did not appear because of other matter listed in different court. So what she did was, she called me and she told, you see, you are not here, so I am going to withdraw the matter. You are not serious in your profession, and my advocate on record friend is, threatening me, and he is blaming me for helping you, so I am going to withdraw the matter. So I requested her not to do so, but still she went up to telling the judges that she is going to withdraw the matter. But fortunately, my matter was drafted well, and the matter was held by the present Chief Justice Thakur and sitting Judge Bhanumati from Tamil Nadu and one other judge. After seeing the matter, they have appreciated my drafting, and in the open court they have told that this kind of cases are necessary to the upliftment of the society, and they have also invited such cases more in the Supreme Court in future. So after that incident, what she did was, while we file a public interest litigation, we have to mention the contact number of the petitioner.
Yeah.
So she had tried to contact the petitioner for getting change of wakalat, so that she becomes the advocate advocate for the petitioner, and when the matter is reported, she will be the lawyer in the landmark case.
Okay.
But the client, I know the petitioner is my friend, and I requested him to be the petitioner. He has refused to do so. And she had approached other Tamil Nadu lawyers to get into contact with the petitioner and to get the change of wakalat. And they have also refused. I don't know whether they are in support of me or for some other reason they refused.
Yeah.
So they refused. Then I realized, in the guise of helping us, they are getting all the cases, important landmark cases, and when we are not there, they even grab the spaces we have.
Yeah.
So fortunately, my name was there in the list. So I was able to continue the matter, and now the matter is, taken up seriously by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court had warned the Ministry of Social Justice to stop the ritual, and the Ministry of Social Justice has also consented to ban the ritual all over India, and it was also reported in the Hindustan Times last month.
You said something interesting yesterday when you talk of justice, and you said there is not much to expect just even from the Supreme.
Even if you take the example of the case which I told you now, the Chief Justice of India says it is not an urgent matter and it is not a good matter. But when it is listed before a different bench, they say it is very much necessary for the upliftment of the society, and they are appreciating my drafting. And there is also another case which I filed during the Chennai flood. So during the Chennai flood, the relief works were not extended to the outskirts where Dalits supposed to live. So Dalits were not given any food or other reliefs. So that every year what happens is during the flood in Andhra Pradesh or Pondicherry or Kadalur, Nagapattinam, the coastal region, the people who die are, most of them, 90% of them are Dalits. So what this government does is, they simply give the relief and they are not regulating the stormwater drainage system, and they are not taking any precautionary measures to save the lives of Dalits. It has become custom every year that thousands of Dalits die. So I filed a petition in the Supreme Court of India, and that time I was not able to find any petitioner because of the Chennai flood. All were busy and mobile phones were not reachable. So I filed the petition on my name. So the matter was filed and we mentioned before the CJI, and he agreed that there is an urgency in the matter, and he listed the matter on Monday. So we approached the senior counsel to appear for the matter. Even that senior counsel also, he is from a forward community, and he is also, as a practice, he is also from Parsi community. But he appreciated my drafting. He said, in the past 10 years, I have not seen any junior to draft such a good petition. So we were very confident that the matter will be issued notice. But the case was not listed on Monday. Even after the direction of the CJI, the matter was not listed on Monday. And on Tuesday, they listed the matter before the Social Justice Bench. It was led by Justice Lokur and Justice Uday Lalit. And when the matter came up for hearing, Nageshwara Rao, who was the then advocate for government of Tamil Nadu, who is the present sitting judge, he was made to appear in the matter where even notice was not issued. He used to get 5 lakh rupees fees for one appearance. So we could imagine the importance of the matter. When the matter came, judges were telling like, you are basically from Tamil Nadu and you have filed petition only for the sake of getting publicity, and you have included Andhra Pradesh and Pondicherry only for the purpose of jurisdiction. Otherwise, we don't find any reason to hear the matter in the Supreme Court. But Article 32 says when there is an infringement for the fundamental rights as already guaranteed by the Constitution of India, the Supreme Court has to take up the matter. When Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was asked which provision, which article you think to be very important in the whole Constitution, he said it is Article 32. He said it is the soul and heart of the Constitution. Because when the fundamental right is violated anywhere within the territory of India, Supreme Court has a duty to take up the matter.
Okay.
But these judges, they are, in the point of jurisdiction, they say you go back to the Madras High Court, you go back to the Telangana High Court or something which is unconstitutional, which is not there in the Constitution. And obviously we all know Uday Lalit was the, erstwhile advocate of Jayalalitha, who was who is the present Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and Nageshwara Rao, who was already invited to be Judge of Supreme Court, but he refused that time, but now he has accepted the invitation. So when persons having much political influence and political background come up and argue in a matter without even going into the grounds of the case, they are simply asking us to go back to the High Court. So the matter was decided by the Social Justice Bench. I didn't find any social justice, rendered through these judges.
Yeah.
So when one different bench is appreciating and other different bench is not appreciating, and when CJI directs the matter to be listed on Monday, but they have the influence to remove the case from the list.
Okay.
So in this circumstance, I don't believe in this judicial system at all.
But for a lawyer to say that it must be difficult. Your sisters are married, but you are not thought of marriage. But they were wrong destined to act, but you have decided to be independent. Whose influence do you think is very strong in you?
My mother was expecting the second baby to be a boy. but she was also a girl baby, and she expected me to be a girl. But I don't know, somehow she found that I am a girl, so she had abortion tablets. But still I survived. So I couldn't walk for 1.5 years after my birth. And when I born, I was too small and too dark, so that my mother refused to give me mother feeding also. Then my father has fought with her to give me, mother feeding, and he was my only support throughout my school days and college days. So initially, when I came to practice in Madras High Court, I had no idea about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. The thing was, we know, basically, since we are from Tamil Nadu, we were influenced by Periyar thoughts, and we had only, less space for us to know about Ambedkar. And since mine is not a political family, or they are very ordinary persons, they don't know anything. My parents were actually very innocent. They don't know except to give us education. On that circumstances, I have seen only Babasaheb's statues in slums. I have seen few Dalit leaders to always, spell Babasaheb's name. Otherwise, I had no idea. And only after coming to practice in the Madras High Court, I came into contact with Periyar movement. And I used to attend all the meetings in the Periyar movement office. And one day there was a meeting of Liberation Panthers Party. They celebrated the birthday of its founder Thirumavalavan. And that day, whomever came for speaking, all were telling the name of Babasaheb. Then I thought there is also another important person for me to know. And being a lawyer, I have only limited knowledge about him, and I was thinking that he is a Dalit leader and he has only drafted constitution, which is not a big thing. And again, the propaganda secretary of the VCK, while having conversation with him, I told he is a Dalit leader and why you expect everybody to celebrate him. Then he was about to kill me. He was literally about to kill me. And then he explained. So this is the thing what happened. And this is how Dr. Babasaheb emerged as a great national leader, and in fact he is also international leader who fights against oppression. And then he gave me some materials, and till then I was thinking that Periyar is the only leader who has spoke of women rights. Then I came to know that Babasaheb has resigned his law minister post only for the women rights, and I happened to study more Babasaheb writings. And I felt ashamed for thinking him to be a Dalit leader. And then I started respecting him. And now Kiruba Munusamy is because of Dr. Ambedkar. If he had not been there, it is not possible for Kiruba to be a Supreme Court lawyer. And all the writings of Babasaheb, it has some intense meaning. Everyone have their own perspective over his writings. But mine was entirely different. I have never felt myself as a woman. I always feel myself to be a neutral person. And Babasaheb's writing is also like that. Even a dominant caste person can also read his writings and get enlightened. And Dalit can also read his writings and get enlightened. And even a black woman or black man or black person who is fighting against racism, they can also read the writings and get enlightened. And I have to particularly tell you one thing. When I was handling the case of transgender, I was surprised to see in all over the constitution there is not even a single word that denotes gender. There is no he or there is no she. All were neutral. It were mentioned like citizens of India or person, which is very much applicable to LGBT or transgender persons. So he is more prospective in his thinking, and then I realized he is really a legend. And it is very much necessary for me to follow his all guidings and all. So that's how I am.
No, it has been a hard struggle, but you have taken it very lightly. Even the violence you faced, your threats you faced, and the racism and casteism, even from the judges. What advice would you give to future women and Dalit men?
It is of course tough, but it is not a big deal. Anyone can become a Supreme Court lawyer, or anyone can fight for the justice through the judiciary, and we all have the means to do so. So right now I am planning to establish a training school for judicial activism where we are going to train the Dalit Bahujan lawyers with drafting, with legal research and argument skills, and we are also going to train them with the need of social justice and public interest litigations on law. We have several forms of protest, but still I think judicial protest is very much necessary because it is going to compel one group of dominant persons to oblige to what is there in the constitution. So judicial activism is very, very necessary for the change of the society and for the achievement of the social justice. And for that we need many lawyers with a commitment to the society, and we need many lawyers in all the stages of judiciary, not only in the district courts and not only in the high courts, but at the highest judiciary level also. And when you take the caste atrocity cases, most of the cases are acquitted. But when we go through see what happens in depth, we find the police officials and the public prosecutors are collide together, or otherwise they don't follow the procedures which are mentioned in the SC/ST Atrocities Act. So there are some lacuna in the procedure itself, so that we need our own lawyers to take up the atrocity cases, and we need our own judges to decide the matters. We need a powerful Dalit lawyers collective to represent the cases of the Dalits and to represent the victims. So it is very much possible to work for the society through judiciary. The only thing what we need is confidence and hope and the dream to achieve social justice.
Okay. So thank you, Kiruba. It was very interesting talking to you, and thank you for taking time to talk to us, JB.
It's my pleasure, JB.